Hey guys, I don't know where this is going or to who or whatever, but um, my hair's looking a mess. It's because I got this fucking well, you can't really see. I got this braid back here, but anywho, today, wherever this is gonna go, I want to talk about possessiveness in relationships and clinginess and, well, mainly possessiveness, jealousy, physical outward appearance, and the struggle with that in my personal experience. So I'm gonna say a lot, and I'm gonna be speaking on like relationships as a whole to a degree, but based off my experience alone. So the reason I've been thinking this, hold on, I have like a ghetto setup here. Let me see if this I'm getting exposed. Let me put my cigarette down real quick. That works. So, the reason that I've been thinking these thoughts specifically, everybody has a first love, I'm sure. Maybe not yet. But a lot of people go through that. A lot of people have a first love, you know. And as of late, as of the past, since January this year, I've been dealing with the loss of mine. I won't go into that, but I have been dealing with that, the loss of my first love, and living without that, the struggles that may be a part of, whatever you want to call it. And so, yeah, I definitely just got like burnt plastic on my cigarette and Scooby snacks in my throat. Hold on, I have to like burn this shit off. And the reason I mention that is because, as that goes, everyone tries to move on, and I haven't moved on yet. I haven't. But, inconspicuous white van driving by my house at 4 in the morning. Anyways, I haven't moved on yet. I can admit that. But, you have to try. So, I've been kicking it with this other girl, and, she's cool and everything. But because of my first love, first girlfriend, first experience with that, there's a lot of things holding me back. And one of those things is possessiveness, clinginess, attachment. I don't want to feel like the threat of losing someone again, because arguably, when I was going through it with my ex, one of the hardest parts was knowing that I was gonna lose her, but still desperately trying to keep her. That's the best way I can explain it. It was like, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was inevitable, but I tried and tried with like real fucking desperation to keep her, and it didn't work. Whatever. But it makes me like, what the hell, why am I gonna get into another situation that could just lead to that? Because it's a terrible feeling losing something like that. It is. And it's a terrible feeling basically begging for someone to stay and they just don't, It's demasculating, it's embarrassing, it's desperate. It's just not something that, you want to go through. And so that leads me to, well, this new girl, I'm kind of keeping her at a length, We've got this weird thing going on. She really, really likes me. Like, she's telling me she loves me and shit. And it's just like, I can't, I've been talking to her for a long time, like way too long. And I can't bring myself to be in a relationship with her because I still love my ex and because I don't want to go through the same things that I was going through. And one of the main things that made me realize this was she was wearing a skirt the other day. It was just like a mini skirt, and like her ass cheek. And I know I'm going, like, this is a lot of like personal detail, but and her ass cheek popped out, like a little bit. And it brought me right back to high school with my ex-girlfriend. You know, she would wear shirts where her boobs might be too out, or she'd wear a skirt or like a crop top or something, or just things that I found that were too revealing, and it would hurt me from the inside. And I tried not to be controlling about it. I tried and tried, but it would hurt me from the inside seeing the woman I love share her body with the rest of the world. And that might be shallow to some people, and that might be sexist or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But to me, that's a personal thing that I can't control. And I don't really even care that I can't control it either. I just, I don't want my woman to be like seen like that. I don't want my woman's tits to be hanging out. I don't want her ass cheek to be out in front of my friends or in front of anybody really. And so when I saw that thought went through my head of like, she needs to not be doing that. And then I'm like, well, I'm not dating her. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't do this again. I can't fucking ache over little fucking things like that, like how I used to, because that was already bad enough. As much as I loved that girl that I was with, there were so many fucking problems and so many things that were so terrible and tore me down. And something like that it was a little thing, but it was part of it. And it just reminded me of everything else. And it was just like, I can't do this again, I can't. And so I don't know what I'm gonna do. She's attached to me, but there's not that much of a connection there, It's nothing crazy. And it's just like, well, so what do I do from there though? I get rid of her. Okay, I'm alone. Do I start looking for another woman just to what? End up at the same result? It's very, 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 very demotivating. And it's like, a part of it too, to give some more context, there's a lot of similarities with this girl, and not really well. Similarities with the way that she likes me so much, with the girl that I used to date. They're like, you're the sweetest, you're the absolute best, like, I love you so much, like, I never been treated this way before, never done this before, oh my god, like, just head over heels acting like that towards me. And with the first girl, it meant something, but with this girl, it doesn't. Oops. But with this girl, it doesn't, because all I'm thinking in the back of my head is, yeah, you're gonna feel that way now, but it's not real, because one day it's gonna end up like it did for, the other girl. You're gonna end up hating me, rather than being fucking genuinely so head over heels obsessed with me that you wanted to be with me at all times, because it never stays. A woman never stays. Women get bored. Women find other men. Women get upset. Women hold grudges. So, you let a woman fuck up so many times, but you, as a man, if you fuck up too many times, and they keep that against you, it comes up in fights. It comes up here, it comes up there. Something from a couple years ago could come up in an argument and, make her trip out. And then one day it's like, it's over. It's like, you know what, I'm not, I hold all these grudges against you, and they leave, or they find someone else, and as human beings, we're naturally inclined to make mistakes. We're naturally inclined to learn, and being able to see past mistake is very important, because a mistake isn't inherently the same thing as a wrongdoing. Like, you can't say cheating on your partner is a mistake, or stealing is a mistake, or, something like that, but hurting your partner can certainly be a mistake. Hurting their feelings, hurting their self-esteem, hurting the relationship, hurting the trust. It can be a mistake. Those things can be mistakes, and that doesn't mean that they're inherently right, and that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be atoned for, but it doesn't mean that they were done with malice, you know? And I think that's a big thing that's hard for people to understand, that like we are human. You know, we fuck up. That's fine. And it's just like a lot of relationships are so weak that, you know, a simple mistake can be the end all be all. Oh, well, you did this and I'm done. And that just shows, well, was there real love in the first place? You're not willing to work with me, you know? The whole like Christian marriage, I don't know if it's, I don't actually know the origin of it, to be honest. I'm not gonna say that, but the thing that most people say in the whole marriage thing is, you know, through thick and through thin, but how thick are they actually willing to go through? How thick are they actually willing to go through? And that's the thing, because people struggle, people fuck up, people have fuck ups, you know? That's just how the world goes. And how many fuck ups are you willing to go through with you or your partner, you know? But I don't know. I think that what sucks is, I think you can feel love, real romantic love, at a young age, but it's harder to express it and it's harder to work through it. So the whole high school sweetheart thing is rare to work out, because you could be truly in love, but you're 15, 16, you know? And so you're growing up. Those are like prime teenage angst fucking bullshit years, you know? You're growing up. And so you experience love in those times, and you're gonna do stupid shit, and it's gonna distract you and it's gonna upset you, and you're not gonna know what to do in a lot of times, you know? At least this is how, and like I said in the beginning, this is just my experience. You're not gonna know what to do a lot of times, you know? You're gonna, and you know, it's also hard to place blame when you're early on in a relationship like that at a young age, because you have this sense of, I don't want to upset, and once again, my experience, you have this sense of, you don't want to upset the person that you love so much, so you kind of hold your real thoughts back, or your real feelings back. You kind of, you know, you don't let things go out. You don't let, you know, you keep a lot of shit inside you. You deal with a lot of shit, but because rather than communicate, you just want to keep them happy. But then it gets to a point where it's exhausting, and you start taking it out on them, because then they fuck up too much, and neither of y'all are communicating it properly. And then grudges until a breakup happens. But y'all are too attached. Y'all get back together, and it's that same high school story until one day y'all are too old and one of y'all's really done. And that's how it went for me. I wasn't done, but she was. She was ready for someone else. I was boring. I was enough. And it's like, well, where do you go from there? Do you start over? You grew up with that girl, you know? And then, like I said, well, maybe you start talking to somebody else, but then you start thinking of the inconsistencies. You start thinking of the compromises. You start thinking of this isn't as good. This doesn't feel as good. This doesn't warm me in the same way. And then there's the bad things, and it's like, do I want to deal with this again? So it's like, it's very like, it's a pessimistic way to think, but it's a true way to think, and it's simply the reality, at least the reality that I'm faced with. Hold on. This bowl's almost dead. But, you know, the loss of my first love leaves me in my uncle's house at 19 years old at 4 in the morning, smoking weed, smoking a cigarette, and talking to a phone. That's where, and I'm unemployed. That's where the loss of my love of my life has left me. And that is why I bring it back to say, attachment and dependency and possessiveness and all that is so bad, because anything can go away. You can lose it all, your mom can die. Your best friend can go to fucking war. You know, it doesn't matter. Something can happen and something will happen and you will lose things. And that's where, you know, I don't really have an answer to what to do about it. Because what do you do? How do you not be possessive of something? How do you not want to keep something to yourself that you love so much? And I mean that in all ways. Your friends, your family, your loved ones, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, literally. How do you not want to keep that to yourself? And then when you lose it, what do you do? You know, what do you do? The answer is no one knows what you really do, because everyone's brain is different. Everyone handles emotion the same way. There could be a relationship there could be a relationship with just as much love as I had for my first woman. And the same thing could happen, and this guy might not give a fuck. He'd be like, well, on to the new bitch, and it will be fine. But because my brain works in the way it is, I'm stuck hung up about it 5 months later, you know. And I mean, I feel like that's normal, but it just, I don't know. I don't need to get into all that in this video. I'm starting to get a little too high. But I don't know. Just be careful. If I have advice to anybody who's listening, just be careful. Don't ignore red flags, and I don't mean that in a cringe woman TikTok way. I mean, like, genuinely, there will be warning signals with a woman, and regardless of your infatuation or attraction, you cannot ignore that, because it's not worth it. It's simply not. You know? You might tell yourself it is. You might tell yourself, I'll take the risk because she's so amazing or she's so beautiful, but trust and believe, it is not worth it. And that's what I leave off with. God is good. Do your best. Smoke a cigarette if you want to. Get your fucking vape. Get your muha. I don't give a fuck. Drink your beer. That's what I'm gonna do. And we'll all be fine. Eventually, we'll all fucking die. And that's the way she goes.